Today, I want to talk about a housing cost that's getting a lot more important, but still does not get enough attention in everyday real estate conversations. And that's HOA dues and condo fees. For a long time, most affordability conversations have centered on two things: price and interest rate. And to be fair, those are still massive factors. But there's another layer now that can completely change whether a deal works for a buyer. And that's the monthly fee structure associated with the property. If you have buyers looking at condos, townhomes, or single-family homes in an HOA community, this matters more than ever. Because a property can look good on the surface, have a reasonable price, and even have a mortgage payment that feels manageable. Then, the buyer sees the HOA dues, and suddenly the payment no longer fits the budget or no longer feels worth it. That changes behavior. It changes buyer psychology. It changes how long properties sit. And in some cases, it changes what product types buyers are even willing to consider. This is specifically important for agents because we are not just there to open doors and write offers. We're there to help clients understand the full financial picture, and the full financial picture is bigger than principal and interest. It's taxes, insurance, maintenance exposure, reserves, and HOA dues. In some communities, those dues may cover real value. They may include exterior maintenance, amenities, landscaping, common area upkeep, snow removal, and other services. Even when the value is there, the affordability challenge can still be real. What I think is happening right now is that buyers are becoming more payment sensitive and more comparison driven. If two properties feel similar from a lifestyle standpoint, but one has several $100s a month in dues and the other does not, the difference starts to feel very big. Not just today, but over the next several years of ownership. This is one reason condo conversations are getting more nuanced. And it's not enough anymore to say a condo is a lower maintenance option. For some buyers, that's still a huge positive. But for others, they're starting to ask harder questions. What do these dues actually cover? How often have they increased? Are there any reserve issues? Could special assessments happen? Is insurance pressure pushing higher fees? Those are smart questions, and they're becoming more common. For listing agents, this matters too. If you're representing a property with meaningful monthly dues, that cannot be treated like a footnote. It affects buyer pool, affordability, and how the property competes against alternatives. Some listings are going to need sharper positioning and better explanation. Sometimes the play is not to ignore the fee. Sometimes the play is to explain the value clearly and help buyers understand what costs or responsibilities are being shifted away from the owner. For buyer agents, this is where trust gets built. The more clearly you can explain total ownership cost up front, the better experience your client is going to have. Nobody wants to get emotionally attached to the property and then find out later that the monthly payment is materially higher than expected because the dues were overlooked or underestimated. From a content standpoint, I also think this is a huge opportunity for agents. There's a lot of generic market content online right now. A lot of people repeating the same rate update, the same national headlines. But if you start to break down real monthly ownership costs in your market, you become more useful. You can talk about the difference between a condo with a lower purchase price but higher dues versus a detached home with a higher price but fewer monthly obligations. You should talk about what buyers should ask before purchasing into an HOA. You can talk about how fees affect qualification, comfort, and resale. That kind of content is practical, local, and highly shareable. This also connects to a broader industry theme. Real estate professionals who focus on transparency are going to stand out more in this environment. Buyers are overwhelmed. They do not need more noise. They need clearer explanations. They need someone who can translate a listing into an actual ownership decision. So the headline here is not simply that HOA fees are rising. The real story is that they're becoming more central to housing affordability, buyer behavior, and property positioning. That means agents need to pay attention. Sellers need to be realistic, and buyers need to analyze full monthly cost, not just headline price. If you're an agent, this is a great topic to localize. Because look at what typical HOA dues are in your market. Look at what buyers are saying. Look at where condo affordability is changing the fastest. Then turn that into useful education for your audience. Because the agents who explain the real cost of ownership are going to sound more informed, build more trust, and stay more relevant than the ones just repeating surface headlines.